focusing on that amendment to 707, Project 707, and we decided to find a method that will reduce HLV symptom severity and more specifically fruit drop. So just a little background why we chose 2,4-D. It was the first choice that came to mind, and it's not necessarily the only one that we probably should look at. We probably should look at other groups of PGRs also. So bear that in mind. But what it is, it's a synthetic hormone and has a long history of use in agriculture. It's used as a herbicide for decades and decades, and also at low doses, PGR doses, it's used in biotechnology, specifically for tissue culture and other uses. And in Florida and in California, it's registered for citrus as a product called Citrus Fix, which is a 40% by a weight by volume formulation of 2,4-D. And the labels are kind of similar. I've got a sample label for Florida. They're not exactly the same, California and Florida labels. But what both of them have in common, they are being marketed for fruit sizing, increasing fruit size, especially for navels, some fresh fruit varieties, and also for pre-harvest fruit drop prevention. Now, I need to point out, that's important, bear in mind, the only background and knowledge we have about this is for healthy trees. We don't know anything about HLV-impacted trees. That's what the purpose of the study is. So from the literature, we just obviously did some mining of the literature and found that the mode of action is most likely to be by increased vascular development. It does promote, including the flow, the vascular development. So what some papers, again on healthy trees, have discovered and presented, they are published in peer-reviewed journals, is that you can get an increased pedestal diameter, specifically for citrus, which could imply stronger fruit attachment and enhanced fruit size because you're getting a better vascularization and transportation of carbohydrates into your fruit. So that is the perceived mode of action. It's pretty simple. So, as I mentioned, there's no published literature on 2,4-D interaction with HLV. However, last year there was, at the International Citrus Conference, there was a presentation on nutrients and 2,4-D being used in conjunction to mitigate HLV in Brazil. So the Citrus Fix label is for single applications in the 50 to 100 parts per million range. Herbicidal range would be 1,000 parts per million or more as a herbicide. So the label for PGR is for 50 to 100. That's still fairly high. That's for a single application. So we are proposing to investigate as Craig mentioned, the possibility of greatly enhanced activity against HLV symptoms by frequent low doses, so 5 to 10 parts per million. And incidentally, the 5 parts per million was also used in that study from Brazil. So about a tenth of the label rate. So theoretically, you could apply 10 of those in a year, and you wouldn't exceed your annual label rate. However, even if that's not exceeded, bear in mind, relabeling will be necessary if this becomes a widespread use for this product. The label has to be specifically and exactly followed. So even though we're not exceeding annual rates, it would require relabeling. So the idea in bullets here is that we want to try to promote constant promotion of growth and repair of vascular tissue and constant vascular, as I pointed out there, from damage from the Libribacter, and also to test the interaction of 2,4-D with the bio-based architected surfactant, and that's just a trade name, EcoAgra. It's really just a potent bio-based surfactant with some claims of microbial, antimicrobial action, but it's unknown how effective those are. So specifically this field experiment, we decided we've got the ability to put 2 factors in, we're going to do that. Certainly the uptake of 2,4-D and nutrients would be enhanced by the inclusion of a good surfactant. Basically, meaning the whole experiment will receive soil and foliar applied nutrients, pretty intensive quantities of this. Here's just the label. It's made by Alco. I think it's in California, the company. But as you notice there, this label is for use within Florida. And it's 45% weight by weight. But weight by volume, it's 3.36 pounds per gallon, which works out to be 40% weight by volume. So that's usually the more useful number, not the 45%. You want to be dosing milligrams of active ingredient per acre. So I've done that conversion. like to know about it. So moving on to the experiment design, it'll be a 4x4 lattice square with randomized replication, all the good controls, and we were lucky because it's 4 treatments and 4 reps. We can use the superior design, the lattice square, so it controls variability in the site in 2 directions, not just 1 direction. So there's 16 hole slots. We were also fortunate to inherit in that block. It was a rootstock car. You can use a split block design within that lattice square and have a comparison between Carrizo and Swingle. So, design, like I said, is Hamlet. Okay, here's the treatments. This is just a copy straight out of the proposal, so I'll speed up a bit because it's all probably been seen by you already. This is the proposal, but there are 4 treatments with a control. Sub-treatments, as I said, is the rootstock. And we will include some phosphites, as we do with all our nutrient foliar sprays from time to time during the year, so that'll be the base of treatment. So this is the situation. It's not 100% infected, unfortunately, so you still have some trees that are clinging on actually there, on behind it there, and almost very little fruit drops, but it's well above 75% infected, and the rate of fruit drop was more than 50%, as you can see. These have always historically been high yielding Hamlin block, and with the impact of fruit drop, there's an incredible drop of load of fruit on the ground. So we have to now quantify that. So that's one of the treatments that Craig, one of the measurements that Craig mentioned is that we figured once a week we would go and actually quantify on select trees, count the fruit. There's really nothing you can do about weight measurement. But guide us if you have other ideas. But as far as I know, there's really no way of quantifying the weight of fruit drops or anything else about it, not even the size, because from the minute it drops, it starts shrinking and desiccating. So all we plan to do is count them once a week. So now's the time to lead us if there's anything you'd like to change. Okay? So just look at that situation and see what you think. But it's pretty bad. I think it's a good choice of site. So this is it here. 4x4. So as you can notice that every treatment occurs once and once only in every row and every column in both directions. So it's a true Latin square. There's the rootstocks. Start date, we don't know yet, but it's currently going ahead. But to save time and to just make the best use of time, we went ahead and even before funding arrived and we did the first spray straight off the petal form. Now remember, it was a really protracted and long bloom period. So as far as I recall, it was last month that we did the first spray. So we had to wait, but it was about a 3-month bloom period. It's incredible. Also note that in 2013, this year, 2,4-D is being incorporated into the prescription foliar nutrient treatment of CRDF Project 598. And that's called bringing out to pristine with candidates Larivacin Agiotis for production using intensive horticultural management strategies. It's run its course for 1 year. It's a 3-year project. You can look it up. We found a need in this prescription treatment to do something in addition to the nutrients because we were not getting very significant differences between 4, I think, different. It's 4x4. It's foliar and ground applied nutrients, and getting actually very good results overall, but not being able to differentiate very much between treatments. So we decided to add that PGR component to it because after all it is a prescription treatment, meaning it can evolve. It's an evolving treatment. The idea of it in the original project was to analyze every 6 weeks, analyze the plant tissue, the leaf tissue, and make a new prescription on a moving target type of basis. So we're doing course correction. What we've added now is PGR component to it. And especially because nutrients, plant nutrients and plant growth regulators work in concert. That's the update I have. So any questions for Craig?
Yes, I noticed in Craig's presentation, he gave a good explanation of when to apply it, based on physiology of the plant and so forth. But and then on yours, you said every nutritional application would have it included. So is that, how many times do you suspect that you would be putting it on in, say, a 12-month period?
The 240.
The
Not sure if it was clear in that slide, but what I meant is those nutrient application coinciding with the leaf flushes, which is what Craig showed. We typically only put about 3 major nutrient applications on. I probably did, I think I did make a mistake. You probably saw I put it on the phosphate also. I need to take it off there. That'll be too many. It's the major nutrient, meaning micronutrient, the metals, manganese, zinc, iron, boron, non-metal boron, molybdenum, you know, the broad spectrum, major, 3 times a year, foliar feeds that coincide, time to coincide with the major flushes of leaves.
Had you had any further discussions with the Brazilians that presented that at the Orlando show, or that subsequently, I think, had been in the state where both Carmelo and Gilberto that kind of brought this to Florida?
Just a few emails, yeah. I think they've been in contact with you also, so maybe we should just share our individual experiences. But I've got no new details, I've got no new photographs, but now would be the time to assess their situation because it's winter there and it's harvest time. I got the last email I did get from them, that I got the impression, being that they are consultants, it sounds like they don't want to discuss it all in an open forum. That's just my impression. It was, you know, they didn't explicitly say they can't tell us what it's about. But,
well, they were extremely open with me and invited us down to see whatever we wanted to see and talked in great detail with me about it.
yeah.
But my understanding was they were applying it in every application. So I said, well, what's that mean? He said, well, once a month. I said, so how many times are you going to spray a year? And he said, well, maybe 9 or 10 times.
With nutrients, yeah, and the 2,4-D.
And the 2,4-D.
Yeah, I think it's feasible. I mean, if it's necessary, like I said, we're dividing the annual single dose up into 10. So you could spray 10 times a year, and then it wouldn't be exceeding the annual label dose. And for that reason, I think it would be very easy to just apply for a label amendment to accommodate that, because you're just splitting 1 into 10. That's what you're doing.
Well, that's the whole other question, is the label part of
Yeah.
it, because I think we need to do that concurrently, that, you know, we can't wait a year or 2 years and say, okay, now it looks good, let's go to the label. We need to be working with ARCO today and having discussions with them and seeing where they're at, what's the possibility, are they interested, do they need money, whatever it is. But I mean, to me, this is so important that we can't wait. And I commend the fact that you're here today and we're talking about this enhancement and that the staff pulled this together. I know this has been in a very short period of time, but and so I'm really grateful for that. But I want to go more. I mean, I'm kind of like the little girl on the TV commercial. I want more. I want more. We need to talk to these Brazilians. We need somebody down there, and we need to be, you know, trying to mirror what they're seeing success with, not trying to reinvent it. And I totally respect your position on when and how, but I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel either. So if we need to do more or more replications or whatever, and I think we need to.
And don't forget the possible advantage of using something in a completely opposite spectrum of plant growth regulators like the gibberellic acid.
I think we should do that too, and I see where we've done some work on that, on what's labeled and so forth, and GA is being used today and legal today in Florida. One experience of a grower I knew that used it this year had some reduced fruit drop, but it was a very minimal